right, Hamza. Thank you for being on FabTV. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I saw 3 episodes and I really, really like it. It's really fun to watch.
Which three? The first three or just somewhere in the middle?
The pilot and two.
Okay, great. Yeah.
You know what makes this show different than Grey's Anatomy and Nurse Jackie? What makes this just this more special? It's just better. I love the photography too. The cinematography is going. You guys are walking. It's really nice.
Yeah. Those walk and talks, they were the bane of everybody's existence for a while, but certainly adds a dynamic element to it. What sets us apart is pretty much it's a medical drama. That what happens in hospitals on any of these shows, it's pretty similar there, but it's told from a perspective that most audiences aren't used to seeing. So the perspective of somebody who's been displaced, a refugee, and he's a Muslim character as well, and he's trying to make it work. And that perspective really hasn't been told on mainstream media as much as your run-of-the-mill medical drama. So hopefully we're bringing a welcome and new, fresh twist to an already beloved genre.
How did you become a doctor?
Let's say pretend doctor, as to not tease my parents too much, because I didn't do it in real life. But
Oh, right. Yeah, your parents must be mad at you.
um, I mean, mad would be a stretch, but we had so much help with our on-set medical consultants. We did boot camps for every single medical procedure that you see that you see our team perform on camera. We would meet on our days off, and for 4 or 5 hours, we would just work on the choreography and the language with either a doctor, a surgeon, or a nurse on hand to make it look like we know what we're doing. And then it's like studying for a test. You just make sure that on the day you can do all the right things, and then the day after you forget it immediately. And so if anybody's expecting me to perform any sort of like medical marvels, on my days off, like, it's not gonna happen.
Right. When you're watching the show, it's like we have to root for you. Like, oh man, you just kept on getting knocked down or attacked, and you got your sister. You got all these different elements. Do you have anything in your life that's kind of parallel to your character?
I mean, I think the thing that a lot of viewers are going to be able to relate to at large is the feeling of trying to find your own feet in any vocation, in any circumstance. We've all felt like we're out of place and we have to prove ourselves to some degree. Obviously, this is specific to a refugee story. Personally, my family immigrated to Canada, so there was a little bit of that. And then obviously, there's no secret about the trials and tribulations of like trying to become an actor and facing constant rejection at every turn. I mean, that's the business, right? And then these little moments that you get that breakthrough, or you get the 5 minutes of somebody telling you you're good enough and giving you the opportunity to really contribute in the way that you want to. So yeah, I can relate to it in that sense. The horrors that Bash has seen, I can't relate to, and I had to defer to the conversations that I had with all the Syrian refugee consultants that were made available to me, and I'm very grateful for them to be able to so generously and detailedly share those experiences with me. Detailedly, is that a word? Yeah, it is now.
It is today in COVID.
There you go. Yeah.
I love the dynamic also with you and Dr. Jed. Dr. Jed has your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
How is it working with him because the dynamic of like when you make a look at him like, oh, he's the one that believes in me. He's the only guy that believes in you from the beginning. Not well, actually he didn't, and now he does.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really cool. Like, I'm a fan, right? I mean, I grew up watching The Mummy like hundreds of times. I pretty much second and third year university was just Spartacus. So I'm a big fan of John Hannah, and when I found out he was going to be a part of the show, there was definitely we're all in our, late 20s, 30s, like on the show. And then here's a veteran actor who comes in who's been doing the thing for as long as we've all been alive. So we all really look to him, his presence and the way he just, it was just another, not that he didn't see the importance in it, but it just came so natural to him when he was on set. So there was a little bit of that. I think we were all in some way, anytime we had a scene with him, looking for his approval, like subconsciously anyway, as actors. So I think there was a level of confidence that built with us. Like the more we could hold, screen space with him, the more we felt like we were doing our job as doctors as well. So I think that translated well.
Speaking of approval, so kind of like being a doctor on TV, is there some approval from your parents? It's like, Mom, look, I'm playing a doctor on TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's more. I think to finally get the opportunity to play like a three-dimensional Muslim character, and be able to like flex my acting chops in a way that I haven't gotten to before, and then my parents seeing what I'm capable of in the, that feels really good. Like they've been very supportive. Like I've been at this about 10 years now. So they've been very supportive. Yeah, sure, you get these microaggressions about like, oh, like, are you still considering law school? Or, you could, you know what I mean? There's those like minor things, but that's never going to go away, right? Like,
yeah.
But,
when you're done with your little TV show, are you going to go back to, are you going to go to law school?
Yeah, like there's, and I don't think any amount of success will ever change that. I think my dad's kind of like really accepted it, that this is, like, I don't really see anything other than, something in the arts. But I think there's a small percentage where, just because like I say we, like me and all my siblings, like we were so academically inclined and academically gifted that like she always thought that we would pursue academia on that end. And 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Like all my siblings did their job, you know what I mean? So
well, I understand, because in my family, my brother's an attorney and I'm like this media guy, right? So it's like,
so you get it. So I don't have to explain to you, right?
Right. Yeah. Where were you when you got the call that you're the guy? And what were you thinking when you got that call?
So, I mean, I'm not one who gets like really hyped about things. I try my best to, I don't know if it's like a realist or it's a pessimist thing and stuff like that, but I was in South Africa, and there was just sort of like, I know I was being considered for it. And then when other investors came in, they said that they wanted a real Syrian guy for it. So although I was teased the role for a bit, then they said that like, all right, cool, we're going to have to like run like the whole gauntlet of auditions across Canada and everything like that, because they really wanted to cast a Syrian for it. And they did the whole due process. And at that point, I was definitely kind of feeling dejected and kind of angry and being just like, oh, I was so close. And then I was like, okay, you know what? If there was a Pakistani role out there and I didn't even get to read for it, I would be cheesed. So like, all right, like fine. So I just went on vacation. I was out there with friends and family in South Africa. And I think my agents called me up and they're just like, yo, you got it. And I was just like, okay, great. This is good news. You sure I got it? Cool. And then they signed it on my behalf because I was out of the country. I went and prayed. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to celebrate at the wrap party. Like once we're done, once I've done all my work for the first season, that's when I'm going to celebrate. And I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But when I got the call, I was like, got the opportunity, got the chance. You never know when these things are going to get taken away from you. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm grateful. I'm going to do my job. And then once I've done it, I'll celebrate. So
I love your humbleness, if that's a word.
Well, I'm trying. I have a very inflated ego, so I'm just trying.
Doesn't seem like it. No, I see what you're saying, because even when you're filming it, they may even shelf the show.
Yeah, like you never know. Like we've been there's all these things that you think are going to be the break, and then they don't end up being that. There's every time you get a job, you think it's the one. So like, after 10 years of like booking several the ones that were never the one, You know, the last show that I did with Joseph K was a show called This Life that ended up getting nominated for like 9 Canadian Screen Awards on its second season. And the day they revealed the nominations, it was canceled the day after that. So, who really knows, what's going to happen. So yeah, like you never really know. I try my best not to get too excited. Sometimes I fail, and I really put all my eggs in that basket, and
Gotcha.
so I'm just I'm grateful for the job. I think they made the right choice, but I'm grateful.
They made the right choice, and you're very awesome in the show, and I've been telling everyone about it. So great job. Go Carleton.
Hey, thanks very much. Huh? Did you go to Carleton? You're not a Carleton graduate, are you?
No. I just love Ontario.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, go Ravens.
Great talking to you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Fernando.
Yeah, great job.